Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Call the meeting of the Wappinger School District Policy Committee to order. The time is now 4:05 on Tuesday, May 26th. I think first, since we're going on air, that we'll all introduce ourselves so the public knows who's here. I'm Peggy Kellen, the chair, and we have John Lumia, who's the president of the board, Michael Lopez, who's a member of the committee, another board member, Eddie Sloshower, another board member who's on the committee, Dr. Dwight Bonk, who's deputy superintendent, and Alberta Pedro, the district clerk. Okay. All right. First of all, to approve the minutes from the last meeting. I know you've all received them. Are there any questions about them, or do we have a motion to approve?
I have a motion to approve.
John Lumia motioned. Second.
Second.
Second, Michael Lopez. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Okay.
Unanimous.
Any nays? No. All right. The first item on the agenda is the student cell phone policy, which was carried over from the last meeting. And there was some discussion that this would, because it involves the code of conduct, that we had to coordinate with the code of conduct committee. So I'm losing it. Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
All right, yes. All right. Did anyone have something to say on that? I know we discussed at the last meeting, eliminating a lot of the cell phone use that's currently going on by students in the high schools because it seems to be distracting and disruptive to discipline and study.
Alberta sent us a draft of another district policy. What does everybody think of that particular draft? Eddie?
I think it was a good outline. I know we're dealing just personal smart devices. We have personnel smart devices as a sample. I just think if we're going to go ahead and do this, I don't want there to be any confusion with those students that have IEPs that may have to utilize either a tablet or a phone for their instruction. So I don't know if we want to just talk to the special ed department, because I'm not exactly sure how much of that is going on with regards to those students. So I definitely want to differentiate, because if a tablet or a device is being used as part of an IEP for a special ed student, I definitely do not want to restrict that, because obviously if it's in their IEP, we have to do it. So I'm not sure if everyone else is comfortable if we just kind of the language to be either specific or, just to kind of outline as to what our main goal is, as well as the reasons for it, and when the use of the equipment is obviously absolutely necessary.
Okay, Dr. Bonk, you've had experience with this.
Yes. I would agree with Trustee Sloshower in terms of being able to utilize it for educational purposes when deemed appropriate, either by a student's IEP or their instructor. But in terms of the utilization of cell phones, at least in the secondary buildings during the school day, in the classrooms, as well as the hallways, should be discouraged. That in the event that an individual brings that type of a device to school, it should be put in their locker. It should remain in their locker for the day. And then they can take it upon leaving the building and they can have it. But as far as using it during the school day, unless it is for an approved educational purpose, I think it's very, very problematic.
Yeah.
I have to agree with that, Dr. Bonk, as well, Mr. Sloshower. It seems to me that if a student, special ed student, needs a tablet or whatever, that should be written into the policy.
Yeah.
And anything else, it seems to me that should be put in the locker. It's that simple. Unless the teacher says, "Look, tomorrow I want you to bring your computer in or your cell phone in, so we can look at some issues on the computer or on your phone." that's fine. Otherwise, it stays in your locker or in your backpack, and not to be taken out. So if somebody can write that particular verbiage, whatever, into the policy, I would accept that 100%.
Right. Alberta, do you think you could come up with a sentence, checking with Mr. Zip, as that it coincides with and is in accordance with the special ed requirements?
Yes, I can certainly make that my first get input from him, and then I would also like to share it with the attorney to make sure everything is aligned and we're not doing anything that is out of line.
All right, that would be good.
Some of the things that I think that that particular draft gave us, for example, if you look at the last line that you see in front of you, for the purpose of this policy, study halls are considered instructional times, unless otherwise determined by the building principal. Any student who knowingly possesses a smart device, always on a phone during instructional period without permission would be considered insubordinate and subject to the student code of conduct. I think that should be in there.
Agreed.
That to me is it's an excellent
Yes.
emphasize.
I just think we also have to, when we present to the full board, that really the understanding behind this, and look, everybody has their own viewpoints and whatnot, but unfortunately, kids are being videotaped without their knowledge in the cafeteria, in the classrooms, and unfortunately in the locker rooms in inappropriate situations. And that material is making its way to social media. And I know there's no, 100%, way of stopping the way society is going. But I think we have to have some mechanisms in place to protect the privacy rights of students. This leads to bullying and other things. It has nothing to do with education. And to me, if you can't sit for 40 minutes talking to somebody at lunchtime, that's a problem. And I think we need to address that. I think, the kids need to be more social with each other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They can use their devices at home. Listen, we have situations where parents restrict the use of devices at home. And if we're going to allow, kind of free-for-alls at school, it kind of goes against. I just think it creates more problems. And I know we have to be cognizant of the direction that society is going and the generations are going with the use of electronic devices and cell phones. But as far as I'm concerned, you're in school to learn. I don't want to be getting text messages, which I unfortunately do throughout the day. And we also have to have a discussion with our staff and faculty, because a lot of this is being allowed, and whatever policies and building rules that are in place don't seem to be followed and carried out by the administration and or the supervising teachers or whatever within the buildings, because there's got to be a way to minimize the situation. And I just, look, you go to school to learn, plenty of time.
If I may, I'd like to respond to that comment.
Doctor.
There virtually really is not any policy, which is the reason why we're having the discussions now in regards to this. So, any policies that may have been in effect prior have been pretty much done piecemeal by whatever building, whatever administration wanted to follow, but it did not have any teeth, which is why I think this policy, if the board can come up with something that they're comfortable with, would be very, very helpful. And then you could refer to that policy moving forward, where unfortunately among our 14 buildings, we don't have policies, but we have inconsistent practices. Mm-hmm. So I believe that once the staff is aware of exactly how they're supposed to handle these issues, they will do so appropriately and follow whatever protocol is established by the Board of Education.
But as well as for substitutes come in.
Yeah, it's an excellent point, Dr. Bonk, and also Mr. Slowshower. It's important to have buy-in by the staff and the faculty. We need to, when if we put this policy into effect, if it's adopted, we need to ask the superintendent to follow through with making sure that the faculty and staff have an opportunity to understand the reasons for it and to have the buy-in, and then to convey it to the students so they also understand why we have this policy. So we have a support for it in the beginning.
Well, I think that's a discussion. I think it's appropriate. I think we go on to the next topic, please.
All right. All right. So we're all set on that. Next one, community relations goals. We were given a draft which made a little change on and added a number 13, which says, and promptly notify the affected parents about incidents related to the health, safety, and welfare of students as permitted under the protections of the law. Is everyone all right with that?
It's fine. I read it. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Was everyone all set for first reading?
Yes.
All in favor of
Yeah.
first reading?
Yes.
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 Any opposed? All right, first reading. Okay, next, faculty usage, facility usage, non-payment of invoices. And we had the suggestion from the lawyer of the actual wording to add. Fees for use of district facilities. Fees shall be assessed for the use of district facilities in accordance with Code 1500E1, 1500E2, 1500E4, and 1500R of the district's policy manual. Late fees will be charged for outstanding invoices as per Code 1500E2 of the district's policy manual. After 90 days of overdue payment for facilities use, a monthly fee will be added to the invoice at a rate of, we have to decide at whatever percentage of the balance remaining on the overdue payment. The district retains the sole discretion to preclude any group or organization with overdue payments from additional facilities use until the overdue payment, inclusive of any assessed late fees, is made in full. All right, now all we have to do is decide here on the percentage of the balance we think that should be the late fee.
5%.
5%?
I agree.
Albert, you think that's fair?
5% sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
I had one question, Ms. Kellen.
Yes.
With regards to the billing, I know we had a recommendation, and just are we asking for payment due upon receipt, or are we allowing once they receive the invoice, they have 30 days to remit?
Okay. Ms. Pedro, how are we doing it?
Okay, hold on. Let me bring up an invoice. I believe it's somewhere in our policy too. I think it says 30 days, but let's see, invoices. Okay.
Look, it seems to me you have 30 days.
30 days.
What? I'm sorry?
30 days.
30 days. After 30 days, that's you can get charged 5%. All right.
No,
All right,
no,
because
what's that saying is after 90 days, if they haven't paid, they get paid, charged 5%. So they get a bill 30 days, 60 days, they hit 90 days, they get an additional 5% late fee.
That's fine.
All right.
That's me.
so everyone's okay. You're theoretically allowing them 3 months before they remit a payment.
Right.
Okay,
Is that
I would
all right with everyone?
prefer a recommendation for us to consider payment due upon receipt. And if we don't have a payment within 30 days, there's a 5% late charge. And
I
then if
agree. I think
I
90
agree.
days is too much. I think 90 days just. I think I agree with 30 days.
Right.
That's a good rule.
Yeah, I get that. Yes, it should not be,
Maybe 3
giving them
months.
that much time. They'll just put it at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
How many people are you, is everyone in agreement?
I think that makes sense.
So it's late
I
fee.
disagree.
I agree.
Well, I was suggesting payment due upon receipt, and then on the bottom, anything remitted past 30 days, there will be, a 5% penalty assessed, for every 30 days that it's late.
Yep.
Because as somebody just said, it'll go to the bottom of the pile. Oh, I have up to 90 days at the bottom. Payment upon receipt, why does somebody want to incur another $5, $10, $20, $25, or $50 late charge? Look, we got to get paid right away. We're not a collection agency. Alberta, whoever, nobody has time really to chase these people. You signed the facilities report. The money is due. Within 30 days is more than enough time to pay us.
Yeah, I think Alberta has to constantly keep track of many days. I think simply they give Alberta less work to do. And I think in 30 days, boom,
Right.
you'll notice that's the end of it. Case closed. Let's go on.
Exactly.
Is everyone in agreement about changing it to 30 days?
Yes.
Everyone?
I
Yes.
think that's fine. That sounds fair.
All right. Okay, Alberta, then could you change it for that and then put it up for first reading? How
So
many?
I'm gonna, just for the record, I'm voting no, and
No.
I'll put Peggy as a yes, Eddie as a yes, Michael was a yes,
Yes.
Dr. Bong?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, would you like to tell us why, Ms. Pedro? Because it might be important for us to know.
Well, the way people are billed is not usually by the number of times they use the building. So let's say if they're using it for several months, the school may bill after 4 events, after 6 events. It's totally up to the school who does the initial billing. If you're changing it to be due upon receipt, then
Alberta, if the building is sending out a bill right away, we should be paid right away. If the building, for whatever the reason, sends out an invoice 30 or 60 days after 1 event or 2 events or 3, it should be payable upon receipt once the invoice goes out, and that invoice should be returned within 30 days.
Right.
I agree.
Well, whether it's 1 event or multiple events. I mean, again, we'd have to leave it up to the discretion of the building when they're sending out the invoice. I'm not trying to force anyone at a particular building to say, okay, this group had an event today, we're mailing out their invoice tomorrow to get it back right away. If they know there's several events coming, I'll leave that up to the building's discretion. I'm just saying once that invoice goes out, we should be paid right away whenever that invoice goes out. That's all. And they should have, and 30 days is more than enough time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense.
okay, so then you have to edit this a little bit further.
Right.
So down here on the one I'm sharing, so after 30 days,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
An additional 5%.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so just like that.
Yes.
Okay, now we need to also check this other policy. Let me just make sure. Let's see. Okay, not in this one.
I mean, it should be a 5% penalty for every 30 days that you're late.
Hold on, let me just, okay, hold on. I just have to check the regulation. Okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
Application
Fee, stay there.
fees.
Fees.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything in the regulation. Okay, I don't see anything else. Then we go into turf.
Do you guys want to make it 5% additionally every month or what?
That's what we did say, every 30 days.
No, but then it'd be 5, 10, 15, and so forth. Just 5, 5, 5.
Well,
So
Well, John, it's going to be compounded anyway.
let's see if it works with 5% and 5% and 5%. And if it doesn't, we can revisit it next year and make it stiffer.
Okay. Because the way this reads to me, it says a monthly fee. So you're going to charge. Yeah, it looks like an addition. It will be added to the
Yes.
invoice.
That's what it should be.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So they get a bill. It's going to be due upon receipt. And then if they haven't paid, the 30-day mark triggers the 5%
Penalty.
Yes.
additional late fee. And then if they go another 30 days, it's that plus an additional 5%.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're-
First reading then.
Make sure it's on the original amount and not on the original amount plus the interest that you're charging.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. First reading.
Not on the balance because 5% on the actual balance, not 5% on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
No. repeat that.
You don't want to look. That's supposed to $100. 5% is going to be $5.
Okay.
You want to charge 5% on 100, not on 105.
John, if they're 60 days late, it should be compounded, and it's a 5% late fee on the 105.
You want to compound? That's the point. Do you want to compound it?
Yeah.
That's what it meant. Yeah.
You have
Right.
to
That's fine. Let's go on.
He's trying to give them a negative incentive, to pay on time. The
Right.
longer they wait, the more it's going to cost them.
That's fine.
Okay.
Let's go on.
Got to get them out of that practice.
Should I add that word, compounded?
Sure.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, that's a good one to say.
I put it where, right here?
On the previous 5% compounded.
Yes.
Or over there?
Yes.
The first line.
Yep.
Compounded. 5% balance. 5% compound. Yeah, compounded. Compound. On the balance. On the balance. On the balance. On the balance. Not of the. On the balance.
On. Yes.
On the balance.
That's right?
Yep. Yep. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Next.
First reading. Okay. Next, we had a discussion on CPAC SEPTA recommendation to the superintendent. But I think the problem was that we don't have any money anyway at this point.
Which policy you talking about?
Peggy,
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this.
Yes.
The information packet that Alberta gave us
Mhm.
has an enormous amount of great information, which I'll be honest with everybody, I really didn't have a chance to really dissect it. But what I did look at is leading me to think we should possibly look at going in a different direction with this. And again, what you just said, considering where we go budget-wise, I don't think there'd be a way for the district to support this with any type of funding. But I'm thinking that we may be able to look at this in a much better way, because some of the information that's in here, I don't know if anybody else had a chance to really go through it,
Mhm.
but
Yes.
I think there's a way to really make our CPAC something pretty special moving forward. I think if we take the time to really go through it, discuss it, and present something moving forward, if that's okay with everybody.
Fine, let's table it. Let's go on.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. We have to vote on that. All right. John made a motion to table it. Second.
Yes.
Eddie. Okay.
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Table.
Yes.
All right, continuing with our 5-year, actually it's now, because we changed the policy, 3-year district policy review. So
Which
it's
one?
a 3-year
What are you
district
looking at now?
policy.
Excuse me, Becky. What are you looking at now?
Okay, number 3 on the agenda.
I know what's the name of it. I got the package. I don't have the agenda in front of me.
Okay.
What
It's
is
to
it?
continue the 3-year district policy review. And it's 1530, smoking and other tobacco use
I got
on
it.
school
I got it.
premises.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. All right. We had we did quite a bit of work on the smoking regulation policy last year. Was there anything else anyone felt needed changing?
It's fine the way it is.
Okay,
Yep.
Mike,
I think it looks fine the way it is too.
Dwight, okay,
Yes,
Alberta.
I support it, Mrs. Kelland.
Okay, all right, then we will, we reviewed it, okay, so we
Okay.
know we reviewed it. Okay. 1740, relationship with non-public schools.
That's fine as it is. That's fine as it is. I read it.
Anybody have any problem?
I don't have any problem with it at all.
No, that's
Okay, then we can say that we reviewed it on this date.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm
All
fine
right.
with it.
yeah.
Okay. 1900, Title I, Parent and Family Engagement. There were some suggestions for some slight changes. Some were grammatical. On page 1, okay, down where it says dist 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth paragraph, where it says district and school level, Title I, will provide, and we wanted to take out full and just make it opportunities, because it makes sense. Opportunities, we should be providing opportunities, and full becomes a dispute then as to what's full and what isn't full. Is everyone all right with taking out the word full?
Absolutely. Yes.
I
And
agree.
Yes.
I'm glad you're the English person there.
yes. And then a little further down, development of school level parent and family engagement approaches. This was a grammatical change. It should be hold meetings rather than holding. Hold meetings and survey parents. Another grammatical change. Is that all right with everyone?
That's fine.
Peggy, where is that one?
That's under development of school level parent and family engagement approaches.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so hold meetings and survey parents. Just take off the
Okay, got it.
INGs.
Okay.
And then there was, okay, over here in the exhibit,
Yes.
1900E, under parent responsibilities. The third one down, limit amount of television my child watches. And we had discussed last meeting adding computer, phone, and video gaming. Be added to television.
That makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it would read limit amount of television, computer, phone, and video gaming. Does that sound all right to everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, that sounds that's very good. In fact, that's excellent.
Dr. Bonk, you like that?
I approve, Mrs. Kelland.
All right, is everyone all right with these changes?
Yes.
Was
Yes.
there anything else anyone wanted to change? Okay, first reading.
Yes.
Thank you.
Who else is ready for first reading?
Me.
Let's go for it. Yeah.
All of us.
Okay, everyone, Eddie?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, good. All right, 1920, relations with persons with disabilities. Was there any problem here?
No, I didn't see any problems.
No, can't see anything either.
Mr. Slowshower?
No, I was fine with that one.
Dr. Bach? Okay, me too. All right, then we can say we reviewed it, right?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, now we get into all the things from NISBA. They've been keeping us busy. and they've been mounting up since we haven't been meeting.
There you go.
Okay, the first one, 2520, board member training, which we tabled from last meeting. Again, we have the problem, we have no money anyway. Mr. Lumia, did you have any feelings on requiring any further training under the circumstances?
No, not really, but according to, depending on which optional language we adopt, it might force us to do training. So,
Yes,
there's
well, yeah, I think some of it will come down to the they said basically the lawyer said that the board must be prepared to comply with any non-mandatory requirements till such time as the policy is revised in the future. So I guess if they require something, we do it anyway, right, Ms.
Right.
Pedro?
Right, that's right.
Dr. Bonk? So,
I think what do you call it? I think it's important that we see new note. The very first paper says new note. You guys see that? The training
Yes, no,
that should be added, and it should be done internally. Each board member should be trained on those topics. For example, it says legal responsibilities, board superintendent roles, goal setting, cost saving, superintendent evaluation. Those things, I think it's important that we as a board get trained on. So that should be there. Now, whether it's done, it should be done internally. I don't think we have to spend money to go externally, but perhaps we have enough people in the Dr. Banco or wherever else who can basically guide us on some of these topics. Kristen Crandall can guide us on on cost savings, or what do you call it, collective bargaining, that Bank and so forth. That particular topic should be there and should be forced upon all of us.
yes, how about we can have an in-house board retreat covering a lot of these things?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how should we word that?
well, I think you should leave it to whoever makes up the board as to your retreat topics. That was the whole purpose of doing the board self-evaluation, which you should all begin, the board president will start reviewing that with board members, especially when the new board comes along, because that's going to drive your retreat
I don't
on
think.
your training. But the minute you put it here in policy and say it's mandated, that's what this is for, mandated. That's
I
not
think
mandated, those are ideas.
It should be mandated for everybody.
Well, you don't have any money. You just cut all your conference money from the budget.
No, but we could do internally. For example, Dr. Bank can do resources. Christian Crandall could do budget and so forth. Why can't it be done internally without any cost? The only cost associated is going to be some food, which I'll bring. I mean, is that acceptable to everybody? I'm serious. I don't think.
Well, are you making this mandatory for all board members or new board members?
I'm making mandatory for all board members, not just new board members. That first paragraph should be applied to every board member. I think it's a good idea that we all get a refresher as what exactly our responsibilities as board members, and get knowledge about how budgets are done. What do you call it? How do we show? I think that those are important.
I get, well, to me, common sense should dictate, but, I hear what you're saying.
I think it's important, whether you have common sense or not, that everybody gets retrained. We all have the same background, so questions are not being asked about the A, B, C, D. That should know something that should know already. Obviously, some of us, including myself, don't know everything. So I think it's important that those topics are addressed and mandated to everybody, and that should not be left up to new boards as to what should be done. Well, what do you guys think? The first paragraph?
Okay. Well,
What do you think?
any other input? Mr. Lopez?
No, I think, yeah, John's saying keep it the way it is. So we've got people in there, save the money. I mean, for me, it was useful to get that training and stuff. But I mean, if it's not in the budget, there's other ways. The answer's in the room oftentimes.
Okay. Dr. Bonk, do you think it would be feasible for the administration to provide?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you indicate to us exactly what information you would like to have presented, I'm sure that we can get that information and present it for you.
Well, the optional language tells you exactly what the information is. It says, training for board members could include such topics as legal responsibilities, board superintendent roles and responsibilities, goal setting, cost saving, superintendent evaluation, community relations, collective bargaining and negotiations, use of board committees, budget development, facility project, and participating in board meetings. I mean, those are topics those are well-defined topics.
Right. So if the board indicates to the administration the exact information they would like and how they would like it presented and what they're hoping to gather from the presentation, we will get the information and we will provide it.
It's no different than having in-house people do PDs for the teachers, really.
Correct. Correct.
Right. Okay. Okay, Mr. Slowshower, how do you feel about it?
That's fine. I could go either way. It's fine.
Alberta, just
the administration feels they have the time and they can help. Then fine. It's just like you said, there's no money, so we'd have to do it in house.
Yes.
So basically, just add at the end of the last paragraph the optional language. Add that to the last paragraph. Alberta.
Okay, I'm reading that. Every board member will complete at least one training per year, which addresses topics pertinent to serving successfully as board members in their roles as fiscal stewards, policymakers, and governance leaders. In years where board members complete
No.
training. Okay, then what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the previous note, not that new note. The first optional language for additional district mandated training. That paragraph should be the last paragraph for this particular.
So you want board mandated training underlined.
Correct.
Training for board members could include topics such as, and then that list of.
And that's of it, yes.
So that's your motion to add that.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'd like to add something there to the effect that it can be given in district so that we don't think that future boards don't get the idea they have to pay for outside training. It could be either in district or a conference.
Training may be offered.
In district, in district board training.
In district or
training.
Or outside training or NISBA training or.
No, in district board mandated training.
Yes, but it's possible that in the future, since policy should carry over from year to year, it's possible that another administration would prefer that we did it, if we had the money, through NISBA or some other group.
Okay.
So it should be flexible as to how the training's given.
So trainings may be offered in district, and that pretty much gives you the leeway to do that.
Okay. All right. I'm all right with it then.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Eddie?
Yes.
Dwight?
Respectfully, Mrs. Kelland, since I'm not a member of the Board of Education, I need to abstain from the vote. However, I would fully support it going to the full board to determine how they would like to proceed.
Okay. Alberta?
I'm going to say no. Right? I'm voting no.
Would you like to share with us why?
As district clerk, I have hard enough time getting everybody to attend a retreat. So that's all I have to say.
That's true. I think we do need to, well, this has been a big problem in the past. That's why we didn't have one last year. And several years ago, we didn't have one also because people simply refused to come. So Mr. Lumia, do you have any ideas to how to compel people to attend?
Bring them food. Bring them good food.
I think we had good food in the past. Pedro's very good at ordering food.
I mean, people take responsibilities. Look, you're on the board. You should go to these things. This should be optional. You have responsibility.
John,
if it's optional, then it's not mandated.
What's that? Go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead, Eddie.
I know. I mean, I could see it moving forward that as part of the administration's new board member training, when they come in and they get the pretty binders with everything, that this could be incorporated in. Alberta brings up a good point. Why don't we just have a policy, have it as, it's not mandatory, it's available, And if a board member wants to get some additional training, they could schedule something with administration. I mean, if Dr. Bonk says they'd be willing to offer it, why couldn't that individual just schedule an hour of training on their own?
That's even better. I like
That's
your
true.
suggestion. That's Eddie, I do like that suggestion.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
then,
that way, it's not trying to overcome what Ms. Pedro and what Peggy kind of just said.
also, yes, and the new board member training in district, they've invited us, the rest of us to come, and I've attended them also, because I think every year you can use an update on it.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, in that case, what do you want to do? Just get rid of that? Leave it the way it is?
yeah, well, how
So
many
you
people
were-
would just like to leave it the way it is and just encourage people to attend?
Yeah, so if you're gonna change it at this point, somebody would have to withdraw the motion.
Okay,
I would draw the motion.
all right, okay. All right, then we'll just, it's reviewed, we left it as is.
Okay.
All right. All right, now, Ms. Pedro explained to us that they're going to have all sorts of new updates on the sexual harassment issues. So maybe we should just leave it to the new board to deal with it. It's going to have to be approved by August 14th. So it's something the new board will have to get on, and whatever the new policy committee is. But that means 0110, 110.1, 110.2, 0115E should
Mhm.
all just be left for now and dealt with by the new board. Is that all right with everybody?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I have to go get my charger.
We do, however, have to approve the policy on student records by July 1st, by 500, and also the information and data privacy 8365. This afternoon, I don't know if any of the rest of you did, but I participated in the, hello?
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead, Peggy. Go ahead.
Hi.
Peggy.
Hello? You hear me?
Go ahead, Peggy.
Go ahead,
Okay. My screen went wild. Okay, I signed up for the webinar from NISBA at 12 o'clock today, which was on cybersecurity and cyber privacy. And the main thing they said is we have to be up to date on our policy. This is something we should review every year, they suggested, because technology keeps changing and we have to be flexible but alert to it. And so that's why the student records, the whole policy needs to be updated because of all the things that are going on with online training and distance learning and one thing and another. So,
we're looking at 5,500.
yes.
Just a couple, just at the very first paragraph. You get the first paragraph, please, Alberta. Board of Education. Where it says where the hell is it? I think that, what do you call it? Should the notion of parent guardian be well defined? Should have done what a parent, step parent, a regular parent, who's entitled to information.
I think those are defined by whatever agreement is court ordered.
I agree.
There are different varieties
Well,
of
that should be put,
and
that should be
contact.
put somehow. The court order should be put in there somehow in the policy, because we've had big arguments about what constitutes what, why we can't give some people something and not something. The court order. So the court order says we can't do it. But somehow, perhaps, that should be put in someplace. I don't think it's there. I didn't see it anywhere.
Alberta, is that something we could check with the lawyers about? Because I do know, I mean, there are cases, and of course, we don't know the ins and outs of people's family situations, but there are situations where there's a court order of protection or some other reason why some parent may not be entitled to get certain information. So,
Yeah, I would have to ask.
yeah, we would have to,
That's important.
we want to protect the parents and the children in all these cases.
And also the district, and protect the district, because it seems to me there's too many things, like if people complain about A, B, C, D, and it seems to me that something should be stated about the court, what the court has decided on some particular issues.
Okay.
Alberta?
Right, now we need to approve the policy though in June, because we have to have it by July 1st, which gives us 2 board meetings, first and second reading. So Alberta, could you just check that out and then we can go for first reading?
Yeah, that would be the best way to do this. I would have to connect with the attorney because I really need to get it on for first reading June 1st.
Right, was that all right with everybody?
Yeah, that's okay with me.
Okay,
Eddie?
Yes.
everybody?
Sounds
Mike?
good. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, 8365, information and data privacy, security, breach and notification. That's
Right.
another one that must be approved. And I'm sure that a lot has come up with the things that are going on. The pretty much the webinar suggested that distance learning and all our working remotely has opened up lots of opportunities to assorted hackers and other criminals. So they're trying to tighten things up.
I don't see anything wrong with 8635 as it is written.
Yeah.
Unless other people-
Is everyone else all right with it?
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay. All right, everybody?
Yes.
Yep, yes.
Mike?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Dwight?
Yes.
All right. Okay, first reading?
Okay.
That's it, I think. I think that's
All right.
it. Right?
4765, online course credit.
Oh, I didn't see that. Wait a minute.
Uh,
I don't have it.
That's if we're interested, but it would also involve potential collective bargaining issues that the lawyers mentioned. So I don't know how we feel about that.
I don't have that particular, for some reason I don't have it. I don't know why. I don't have it.
Does anybody feel we need to deal with this at this time?
Dr. Bunk, you're the expert on this issue.
I would prefer we table it until we get more information if there isn't any need to resolve it at this time.
All right. I don't even know if we need to address it again until something comes up or the district wants to do online course credits. Does anybody feel we can just say we look
Table
at
it. Do we need to table it?
Online
Need-
credit seems to me it's cheaper to do it internally online. Right now, we are actually have to hire somebody, correct, from a school. Dr. Bunk, how does it work right now for online credit? You have to go to a specific college, university, and sign up for that particular course. And I think
It would all depend. It would all depend on what the course is, but for the most part, yes.
But right now, I think the superintendent wants the online courses to be taught by people internally, so there'd be no cost to the district.
That's the direction that we're moving in, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
So then tabled would be a good move so that we can deal with it in the next school year.
Correct. That would be my recommendation.
All right,
All
all those in favor? Oh, we have to
All
make a motion. I think Mr. Lumia made one.
I'll make a motion.
Yep, second.
I agree.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
okay, table. 5100, student attendance. Okay, NISBA recommends not including attendance incentives that would penalize students for staying home when they're ill. I don't think, the attorney said there's no need to make changes to this policy with regards to initiatives because the buildings write the incentives, not the district anyway. And, so does anybody feel we need a policy on this change?
Not really.
No, for you, Dr. Funk?
Not at this time, Mrs. Kelland.
Okay, can we just say we reviewed it and left it at that? Okay, reviewed.
Sure.
Okay. All right, 8130, emergency plans, school safety. The attorneys felt what we had was quite sufficient.
Well, if the thing is sufficient for me.
Is that all right with everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we just say reviewed?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
And the
Well, did they mention some language about, I mean, the next one, the pandemic planning, not to have something, but to make sure something was in the school safety plan?
Well, that will probably be, yes, it would probably be dealt with by the district-wide safety committee next year if they feel it's necessary.
Okay, so we don't have to technically deal with that then?
No, nor with the pandemic planning, because again, that's something that the administration will deal with unless somebody feels they want it in policy.
All right.
No, that's fine.
Does anyone feel we need to have that as a policy?
No.
Dr. Bong?
I do not, Mrs. Kelland.
All righty. Okay, so then we can say also that that was reviewed, but not, we didn't do anything else with it.
Okay.
All righty. Okay. Are there any other topics anybody would like to bring up?
Yes, I have one. Should I make a motion to add to
Okay.
the motion to add to the agenda?
I'll second that motion.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I
Go ahead.
I just wanted to inquire as to whether moving forward, depending on what's going to transpire in September, do we have to have a policy, or should we have a policy in place with regards to the distribution and return of Chromebooks? I know Darren had put together an agreement, but is this something moving forward? Do we have to make this a particular policy, or not something, something to think about, any drafted language? Because we don't know what's going to transpire in September. Are we having everybody back? Are we having 3 days of school, 2 days of online learning? Are we not going back right away? Or maybe I guess us, Alberta, should find out, do we need to put some type of policy in place regarding district equipment being loaned out to the public? And what
I
the
think
return policy is,
there should be
from what Darren's, one-page basic agreement is.
I think there should be a policy set in place.
Yeah. Alberta, is that
like
covered
doing-
in any of our policies? Return of district materials?
Not that I can recall offhand.
There should be one. Look,
We
Well,
have something at library.
I can indicate that it is expected that for books and things that are property of the district, that they're returned at the end of the school year. Now, obviously, this is a much different circumstance based upon where we are. So I think it would be something that we certainly would want to speak to the attorneys about and see maybe how we proceed. But for library books and anything else that's district materials, they are due back by the end of that academic school year, which would be June 30th.
Right, but I don't think we have anything in the policy that pertains to the Chromebooks. So maybe it's something that we add. I'm just saying, again, just trying to think outside the box in the direction that we're going, because obviously we're going to have so many things that are going to be, changing and moving over the course of the next 60 to 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
check with
Just
your-
something that hit me. Maybe we could inquire and see if it's something that we should do, or is it already in that, would that be covered in the existing policy language, as Dr. Bonk has mentioned, with other, district materials, books and so forth?
Okay,
It's
so
under-
Alberta, can you check on that for us then?
Okay.
Okay. Good point, Mr. Sloshower. Anything else anyone would like to bring up?
No.
All right, then I'd like to thank everyone for your very hard work this year on the policy committee. We reviewed the policies from 0 through 3999, and that's where we had hoped to be. And we're hopefully the next year we'll be able to work on the 4,000s and 5,000s, which relate to students and instruction. So, and we had to deal with a lot of unexpected things this year, to say nothing of missing a couple of policy committee meetings because of the situation, but did a great job. So thank you very much for everyone's cooperation and hard work reading everything. Thank you. And you especially, Albert. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Kellen, for your leadership for this committee for this year. You did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks to all. Thanks to all for a job well done. I enjoyed being a part of it.
Thank you, Dr. Bowers.
Take care and be well, all.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Please, Alberta, stay on for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on one second, please.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Stay on, Alberta, with me.